Grief is one of the most complicated emotions I have ever dealt with. It's like it takes the worst parts of other negative emotions, crumples it up into a little tinfoil ball, pops it into the microwave of your neural network, and is like, oh, good luck. You are going to walk through perpetual emotional fog, feel as if your organs are being pulled out of your body. You'll never know if the tears you have constantly welling up are going to be a silent trickle or a full-on body sob. And also, let's not forget, randomly questioning how, if there's truly a God, how could it let such a thing happen? Grief is different for everyone, and this time that I experienced it came with another piece of baggage: trauma. And the mixture of those two things is the most hostile takeover of my brain to date. It came after my friend Christopher died, but he wasn't just my friend, and he didn't just die. He was like a brother to me. We even lived together for a little while. Oh my God, one night I came home and he calls for me immediately. So I go to where his voice is coming from, and what I find is him in a camo hat, drinking a 40, sitting in a comically frothy bubble bath, door open for all to behold so that he can watch TV. He raised his 40 to me. Dude, can you change the channel to Sports Center? While his pseudo-sibling status was endearing, it could also be just straight up stereotypical. Like, even if I was enthusiastically chatting with a cutie at the bar, he would still always come up to make sure that I wasn't actually being trapped by a predator. About a year into knowing him, an unexpected call came in. There had been an accident on his red motorcycle. We had no idea how bad the accident was, so a group of us rushed to the hospital while he was in the ICU. I was in the room when I heard a phrase I will never unhear. We did everything we could, but we could not save him. And then I heard a noise I will never unhear: the gut-splitting howl of a family member losing another. See, he was only like a brother to me, but he was the actual brother to the friend that I was sitting next to. She went into the ICU room to say goodbye to him, and after a while, they said that she wanted us in there with her. I walked into the room of my friend's failed survival attempt, swallowed as hard as I could to stay strong for his sister, and then sat next to a corpse I had just seen smiling an hour before. I ran my fingers through his hair, thinking about the times we laid in bed and watched James Bond movies together. I must be dreaming. What do I do? I wrote in my journal that night. What I did was relive those moments almost every day of my life for the next decade. I was 21 when that happened, and I did not get the therapy that such a thing warrants until I was 32. And in all of that time, the grief and trauma mix did weird things to me. It was never weirder than when it was fresh, and some of the things that I experienced are what brought me here for this theme, because they still scare the shit out of me. It wasn't long after his death that I started hearing things at night: scratching in the walls, a whisper in one ear and then the next, the tap, tap, tap of a phantom finger above my headboard. One night, the scratching was so vivid, and I could swear there was something lurking in the hall outside. So as a 22-year-old woman, I went and slept on the floor of my parents' room because I was that afraid. During this time, I was also having frequent sleep paralysis episodes. If you don't know what those are, they are exactly what they sound like. My mind wakes up, but my body doesn't. No matter how much I'm trying to move, how loud I'm trying to scream, I can't. I am locked in place. Now, I had sleep paralysis episodes even before his death, but after, They were something else, because now they weren't just happening to me, they were alive. When I woke without being able to move, the things around me did. Sometimes it was a simple hallucination, just a shadow in a corner that shouldn't be there. But sometimes it would go so far as to parade a version of myself as if I had gotten up, even though I knew I hadn't. It was so deeply unsettling to see a specter of myself and wonder how I'm split in two and how one of me can move, but the other cannot. I would wake up in panics, unsure of what reality was, and it would take me several minutes to get my bearings. It made going to sleep feel like a risk. And on a December night in 2011, my sleep paralysis took on its worst form. I woke without being able to move, to the feeling of being watched. It felt like someone was standing outside the window that my bed was up against, peering in through the blinds. I lay frozen in terror until suddenly a shadow moved and I heard something move towards the front door. I heard the front door open and close. Heavy steps came down the hallway. Every part of me was trying to move or scream or do something, but I couldn't. I was locked in place. Panic was surging inside of me, and the atmosphere was growing tense and electric. Everything was building until suddenly a shadow man appeared in my bedroom door, lingering there as an inaudible scream clawed up my throat. Then something changed. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a light coming from my bedroom closet. My eyes, they were fixed on the shadow man, but I noticed that the light started moving closer to me. And then I saw that it too was in the form of a human. This was different than the shadow man, though. This gave me no sense of panic. In fact, the panic started to get duller the closer the light came. It moved towards my bed. I felt the dip of my bed as it sat on it. And through the light, I thought that I could make out tattered jeans and this really tacky graphic t-shirt from Abercrombie and Fitch. Christopher? I thought. My panic melted away, and an ethereal hand hovered its hand over my thigh, and I swear I felt the touch of, everything is going to be okay. Christopher was here to make sure that I wasn't being trapped by a predator. The room tension popped, and my paralysis shook off. No shadow man, no figure in light, just me and my empty room were left. And I couldn't quite tell why, but in the moments after that happened, I felt like crying. Not out of despair, but out of relief. I debated for years whether or not what I experienced was Christopher visiting me, and I have come to the conclusion that yes, it was. He knew that I needed him in that moment, even though he wasn't around. He was there to make sure that the thing that scared me went away.